Welcome to Family Call, your favorite TV show that talks about everything around the family. This season, we've been talking about COVID-19, and we are gradually coming to the end of this season. Prof has been here before, and today we'll be talking about COVID-19 and the second wave. Professor Sunday Omilabu is an erudite scholar of international repute. And then after this break, I'll bring him into the studio. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's still Family Call, and we have Professor Sunday Aremu Omilabu in the studio. Prof, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Yes, second wave of COVID-19. What about the second wave?
Thank you once again. Yes, we have another wave. And what do I mean by the wave? It's simply because of the surge in the number of cases of COVID-19 that we are reporting. And this has been traced to some variants, SARS-CoV-2.
What do you mean, variants?
Normally, when virus replicate, especially RNA viruses, after about number of replication cycles, they change on their own.
They change.
They change some of their structural features. And once they change, they will now appear very new to the victim. They will appear very new to the immune system. So for a while, they will be left untouched. So that's why it appears we are having more cases. And that's what actually happened. Naturally, RNA viruses, once they replicate, and they are replicating, they are counting about 1,000 replication, naturally on their own, they would change. So when they now start changing the features, then we now talk of variants. Because the feature in this may not be the one in that. So when you now, so thanks to molecular biology tool that makes that possible for us to detect. So that's what is actually happening. And we've been hearing that in UK, there is a particular variant. In South Africa, there is another particular variant that is driving the outbreak there. And of course, there are a lot of variants all over the world. But the beauty of the mutation is that it is not all the changes that brings virulence.
Okay, what's virulence?
Virulence is the ability to now infect with ease, ability to now spread easily. It's the virulence. So if they are not virulent enough, they will not be able to move from one person to the other. Because if they are not as virulent, the individual they attack will deal with them. So they will not be able to spread. But because that individual failed to deal with them decisively, so they are able to replicate and then move and spread. So it's actually, it affects the virulence of the virus. So they become more virulent. Actually, the essence of mutation is for the virus to ensure their sustainability. Because they know that there will be fight from their seemingly enemies.
Yes, man.
So they too will now want to now sustain themselves. And one of the tricks of sustainability is to change the structure. So that's what actually happens with the mutation.
Okay.
So when you now have the changes, it affects amino acids. And the amino acids affect the protein. So once the proteins are changed, then the system will not recognize it again. It will take a while.
So it's looking like the
new
nature has
thing.
changed.
It's a new thing.
The new thing.
So, and because of that, they will now seize that advantage to now cause a lot of havoc. And that's what is accounting for the upsurge in the cases. And that's why we're talking of wave. It's a wave because numbers are increasing. And then you can now see that when you are even looking at the signs and symptoms, you notice that there seems to be changes. So we now talk of a number of other additional signs and symptoms
that didn't occur
that were not with the first wave. It's as a result of the change in the protein of the virus. So the mutation will affect the virus. It will affect the immune system. So it has its implication too for the vaccine development.
Really?
Because now in South Africa, the variants circulating in South Africa is not responding well to the AstraZeneca vaccine. So the manufacturers, they've learned a lesson from that. So they've gone back to the drawing board to tweak the vaccine. And that's what that's what is going to be happening from time to time. So there will be tweaking of the vaccines so that they will be relevant to the variants that are coming up. So it's a normal thing. So the virus doesn't want to get eliminated. So, and the only way to do that is to now change its structures.
Prof, this your analysis seems to be a bit scary. Does it mean that there can be a third wave?
Yes.
And what can we do? The vaccination, can it do anything about it?
Like I mentioned earlier on, South Africa did some small studies to check on the efficacy of the AstraZeneca they received. And they now noticed that it doesn't have 100% efficacy over the variant circulating. So they've now forced the manufacturer to go back to the drawing board and tweak the old vaccine so that it should be able now to recognize the new variant.
And then this virus is stubborn. It changes to another.
It has to. So the manufacturers too, they know that they have to go back to the drawing table from time to time so that they can now make their vaccines more potent. So that's just it. Just as we are having for flu vaccines. And because we know that flu change from year to year. So the manufacturer of vaccines also work on the vaccines so that it will now be able to respond very well to the new variants coming up. So it's nothing new.
Okay, Prof, we'll go on break now. And then when we come back, we'll continue from where you stopped. It's still been Family Call. And we've been talking about the second wave of COVID-19. I'm enjoying the enlightenment from Prof. Please stay tuned.
AIMS Media Company Limited offers media services for developmental journalism, public relations, marketing, event coordination pan-Nigeria, and training. Top-notch media content comprising documentaries, talk shows, magazine and children's shows, each and all promoting family values for sustainable development. Our partners, collaborators and patrons span individuals, groups, corporate bodies, government, NGOs, UN bodies, and more. Be reassured that our studio facility will meet your yearnings of digital solutions to your broadcast content. We are peopled by board members with unblemished track records and major players in the corporate world.
Hello, it's Child Crest.
Our panache, passion, and professionalism make her the lead driver of our goal-focused team. Entrust your brands to AIMS Media Company Limited to add value to your corporate existence while meeting your target audience. www.aimsmedia.com aimsmedia.com.ng, info@aimsmedia.com.ng. Like us on our Facebook page, Ames Media Company Limited. Ames Media. Turning your dreams into reality.
Welcome back. It is still your favorite TV show, Family Call, and we've been talking about COVID-19 second wave with Professor Omilabu. He's still in the house. Yes, Prof. We're talking about this second wave and the variants and all the challenges. What are the things that I'm thinking? Could it be our behavior after the lockdown? We went out partying. We love Owambe in Nigeria. NSAS came. Could there be a connection with all this?
You've already said it all. Those are the sources of the variants. And you know, if you even take the NSAS alone, see how the younger ones, how they lump themselves together. And as they do, majority of them didn't even wear a mask. So that's where we started the incubation. And then, of course, there is high level of virus replication. As they replicate, and like I mentioned earlier on, they will change. Because they too are also studying the environment. They know that there are enemies. So they want to now implant themselves firmly. So before the enemy now clears them off, so they've already changed. Because they know what the enemy will use, we find it difficult to recognize the new face for a while. So as we are sitting down here now, they are changing. But the only good thing is, not all these changes result in virulent forms. Not all of them. Okay. But we have few ones that can do it. So like you rightly mentioned, people mingling together, people going a party, even see all the imported cases.
Yes, yes. The border, I mean, people travel in.
Imported cases. They ask them to go and test.
Test, yes.
They escape, they refuse to test.
How many times are they supposed to test when they come?
As they come in, after 7 days, they're supposed to go and test. Because they were already coming with a certificate telling our officers here that they have a clean bill. But after 7 days of arrival, they're supposed to go back and check to actually know that whether they are truly negative. Many of them refuse to go.
Yes.
But thank goodness now the government is now taking action.
What is the government doing?
Well, it has already confiscated their visas and the passport for onward of 6 months. Oh. So if they want to travel now, so they have to now go and face some challenges. So they've already banned their passport. They cannot use their passport to go to travel. But you know Nigerians, so they have their ways around that.
Nigerians are always developing new
they have their ways around that. So those are the root causes of these variants. So now we know we learn that we have some of those British, the UK strains among cases in Abuja. Yes, it's because they are coming in, and they didn't go back to test so that we can at least go and self-isolate. Then, of course, we need to be doing a lot of sequencing.
What is sequencing?
The sequencing is the lab test that actually show whether we're having a variant or not.
Okay.
It goes above just detection. So it will now perform what we call cutting of the genome into individual bases. And then we now use software to do the mapping. Because it involves use of sophisticated equipment which we don't have as many. So we only have few labs that could do that. And aside that, it's very, very expensive. So government really need to put money into buying consumables. And then, of course, training of our experts to be able to do sequencing. And then, of course, they should be able to interpret the results. This is bioinformatics. So the government needs to really try on this to make sure that we have the expertise around.
Prof, this second wave, when did it start, and does it look like it's coming down at all? What's the curve looking like?
Yeah, we noticed the surge some 2 months or 3 months back. And up till last month, we still had the surge. But thank goodness, the curve is has plateaued now. It's stabilized. So that's the way I put it. It's stabilized now. But I will not talk whether it's coming down yet. But it has already stabilized.
Is there any place for prayers?
The prayer, to me, it's necessary because I believe in prayer. But the actual thing is that we should always run away from the virus. It's better not to acquire the virus than to start talking about treating or managing. So, and when we know how not to acquire the virus, they've told us what to do. Don't mingle together. Don't attend parties. If it is not necessary, don't go to the hall. In fact, we now have a lot of facilities now. We have Zoom meetings all over.
Even Zoom weddings.
Zoom meetings, okay. So
Zoom party.
That has made life easy.
Young guys.
Yes,
do
birthday
Zoom
parties, Zoom. So the best thing to me that is very, very real is run away from the virus.
Okay.
If the virus doesn't come to you, so you don't have any problem. You don't need to use medication. You don't need to go and do tests because we will never have signs and symptoms. So why not subject ourselves to that? Don't acquire the virus. Stay in your house. Put on your face mask if you want to go out. If you want to sneeze, sneeze into the cup of your elbow. These are simple things. If you can apply it, we will not acquire the virus. Then there won't be problem facing hospitals. So there won't be where to put patients. There won't be need for oxygen. We are crying of oxygen. We are crying of complications. It's because we acquire the virus. And once the virus gets into the body, only God knows how far the virus will go. So to me, running away from the virus is the best.
Okay.
To make sure that you don't acquire it. That's the best.
Okay, Prof. As a member of the board of Fajim Medicare Foundation, what are you doing in stemming the tide of this COVID-19?
Fajim has done a lot in terms of health education. They've organized a lot of activities. As must have been mentioned by the chair of the board, Fajim has organized a lot of talk shows on radio, on television, and then of course they have a lot of community services where they educate people on how to run away from COVID, the way I used to say it. So Fajim is trying within our pause to reach out to many Nigerians. Apart from COVID, they've done for other public health diseases. They've talked on cancer, they've talked on viral hepatitis, and a host of other diseases. They've organized the Zooms and so on to enlighten people, for people to discuss. So Fajim, in a way, has tried as much as possible to really touch people in the public health sphere. And aside that one, they are also giving scholarships to assist aggressive students that are very, very highly intelligent and that only needed financial support. So FAJIMS has done a lot around this area too.
Thank you, Prof, for coming. I really enjoyed the show, and I'm hoping that next time when we invite you, you will still be able to give us some time out of your very tight
Thank you
schedule.
very much for the invitation.
Yeah, it's been Family Call, and we'll be talking about the second wave of COVID-19. We're still learning, and then we want to go to some other segment now. I hope that you stay behind to enjoy from these segments too. Don't go away.
The pandemic, as a result of COVID-19 virus, is a major issue in our society, and is of a very great public health concern. To now make the matter worse, in recent time, there has been so many variants of the virus, and people have been settling their minds, knowing fully well that the scientists are working around the clock to make sure that this pandemic is put to a halt. It's put to a halt. Though we may not be able to eradicate it completely now, but at least measures are being put into place to make sure that the power is taken away from this COVID-19 virus. With the advent of this new wave with new variants of the virus, so many people have, especially the entrepreneurs who have lost a lot of economic fortunes, are getting down mentally. Some of them are so anxious that how long will this thing take? When are we going to get out of this? All these losses I've incurred, when am I going to make up for them? So because of this, a lot of them went into depression. A lot are still going into depression. And when we are talking about this new wave, we all need to know one thing, that it has to do with the mutation of the gene that constitutes the virus. But when genes are mutated, that means all the interventions that people want to put into place to curb the effects of such a virus may not work out well 100%. But no matter the percentage that this thing works out well with, at least something can still be gotten out of it. So we all need to know that no matter what, if nature has given us a lemon, we can make lemonade out of it. If you're outside there, you are so afraid, or even going out, you are afraid of meeting up with people, you are developing social anxiety disorder, you are developing phobic anxiety disorder, you are having some depressive symptoms leading to depressive disorder. Some are even having some psychotic disorder as a result of the news they are hearing. What I would advise is that you should try as much as possible to learn about the new wave of the virus, read about the new strains of the virus, and how to protect yourself, how to prevent yourself from being infected, how to go about making use of the non-pharmacological means of preventing the spread of this virus. Because if this virus affects someone, you may not know the extent to which it will go to. As far as your mental health is concerned, you may not know to which extent it will go to. And if your mental health is affected, people around you also could be affected. Because whatever happens to you, some people are attached to you one way or the other, and can be a revolving cycle. So this is why I'm advising us, this is why I'm counseling us, that you should try as much as possible to know. What you know may not have so much negative impact on you, on your well-being. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. It's been Family Core, and we've been talking about COVID-19 and the second wave. It's been a lot of learning for me, even with the bit of some fear or anxiety about the second wave and the possibility of a third wave if we are not careful. I believe you've learned so much too. You've also learned a lot from the other segments, and I'm hoping that you'll keep watching our program. Family Core is your favorite family show that talks about everything about the family. Till I come your way again, you'll keep staying safe.